and some bad for Lonzo last night. Let's start with the bad stuff. He got rejected by Anthony Davis and missed 11 of his 12 attempts from three-point range. He also missed a three with under 20 seconds left. That would have given the Lakers the lead. As for the good stuff, he did have 13 rebounds and 9 assists. After the game, Luke Walton defended his point guard. Let's take a listen.
I want a point guard that's got the courage to step up and take those, even after missing a few. None of those were forced. They were open threes and rhythm. He's very capable of doing it, and he's not a selfish player, but I'm happy that he continued to show the courage that it takes to succeed in this league.
Does that rattle you a little bit when you see a team just completely disrespect your shot like that?
No. I mean, it should play into our favor. It's a wide open shot. I should be making them. Like I said, the shots I'm getting, I like them. Been hitting them my whole life. A little frustrating not going in, though.
We're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Chris, how concerned should the Lakers be about Lonzo?
Not at all. Because of today's sports climate, where there are daily talk shows like this, 24-hour radio stations, sports talk shows in every city, we tend to react like every NBA game is college football. I mean, this is one bad game. Now, he's had a bad stretch, but he's a rookie, and that happens. The only way they should be concerned is if in their heart of hearts the Lakers really thought this was Magic Johnson, because it's not. At his best, I've said it before, he's never going to be Magic. If you thought he was going to be maybe Jason Kidd, he still could possibly be Jason Kidd. The things that Lonzo is struggling with can all be fixed. Three-point shooting, he can become a better three-point shooter. Mid-range game, he can become better at that. Aggressiveness, he's already gotten more aggressive. He can continue to be more aggressive. The things he has that you can't teach are critical, all those intangibles. I think he's a winning player. His unselfishness, his court vision, his knack for the ball, the rebounding is almost baffling how good of a rebounder he is. That's a knack for the ball, and he shows it on the defensive end, too, with his instincts where he gets deflections, he gets steals. So, look, other than Dad, who's been quiet, you know, talking a lot and creating these huge expectations, if that didn't exist, we'd say 10 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds a game. That's about even with what Jason Kidd did as a rookie in a very similar situation. Jason was in Dallas with some talented young players, Jim Jackson, Jamal Mashburn. They won 36 games. Jason didn't shoot well from three, 27%. He shot worse than Lonzo. Didn't shoot well from the field, 38%. Look what he became. I think Lonzo's fine.
I'm not concerned.
You're done. You're bust.
No.
He's already gone bust.
You're not concerned he's going to be a bust, like you said.
No, I've always said this is the exact same thing you said, Chris, is that I don't see Magic Johnson. I don't see transcendental. I see a very good player, and he could, because Jason Kidd turned himself into a very good three-point shooter. But Skip Bayless wants us to believe that Lonzo has been clutch in the fourth quarter. So I had, me and my crack staff, I had to get on. Because I was a little unprepared, but my crack staff. Now, last night in the fourth quarter from 3, he was 0 from 5.
I told you that the first time.
Okay, you did.
Yeah,
in the last,
you missed that the first time.
Okay, I did, but I got this the second time. In the last 8 games, he's 1 for 14 from 3 in the fourth quarter. He's 2 for 19 overall. Lonzo Ball, 30.1 field goal percentage in the fourth quarter, is the worst of all qualified shooters. So that notion that Skip Bayless wants you to believe that Lonzo Ball has been clutch in the fourth quarter is just not true. Now, you're right.
Can I make a point of order?
Go ahead, make a point.
I watched Luke Walton's entire post-game media session, and he volunteered that in most cases, when it's winning time, to use Magic's old phrase, Lonzo elevates his game. He obviously did not last night, but Luke referred to the San Antonio game at San Antonio when he hit 3 threes in the last 2 minutes to win the game. Lonzo also hit big, clutch, late threes at Houston, a game they won when they had no business beating that team in that building. And he hit a big, clutch 3 in the Golden State game at home that went to overtime that they lost in overtime. But they played the heck out of Golden State twice, home and away, in the middle of the season. Those are clutch fourth quarters, and Luke brought it up in winning time, he elevates his game.
Well, I mean, well, damn. I'm just going to, well, don't let him play anytime until the game get close in the fourth quarter, because it's winning time, he's going to elevate, because he's doing nothing in front of the offensive end. And the point is, he's not a scorer. He's not a shooter. He's a facilitator. These scorers, all they need to see one time is the ball go in the basket. So if the shot's not falling from the outside, they're going to try to get to the lane, get a foul, get to the free throw line. Okay, that's the stroke I'm looking for. So that's what I need to do. But he doesn't want to drive, because after Anthony Davis pinned his dunk to the backboard and he's shooting 46% from the free throw line, I mean, Shaq shooting better. Only one guy that we can recall that has a worse shooting free throw percentage than Lonzo Ball is Ben Wallace. Dwight Howard shoots better for a career from the free throw line than Lonzo Ball. Shaquille O'Neal.
That is strange, his foul shooting.
Did I not bring that up first on this show before you ever even noticed that? Was I not the first to say I got a big issue with the guy I love? He cannot make his free throws. He has free throw demons. Why did I tell you that?
Because you didn't want me to bring it up.
No, because if you do this from three and then you go to the free throw line and try to do this, it will not work consistently because you're messed up in the head on how do you do this?
Well, also, when he goes to mid-range and pulls up, he kind of shoots it regular, because you can't do that.
You can't do that.
And so that's what's going to be interesting. Are they going to try to say, shoot your free throws and your mid-range differently than your three?
Either you're going to have to shoot your free throws over here, or you're going to have to start shooting your three-point shot over here. You are, one way or the other. They don't go together, because you won't trust it at the free throw line if you're going to go conventional at the free throw line.
Well, he said Rick Barry did. Rick Barry shot the shot like this and did the granny.
Well, you can do the granny, because that's not anything similar.
Whole different motion.
I do think, though, look, the stats are the stats. I mean, obviously he hasn't been clutch. But I do agree with Skip in that when you look at him, I don't think he's a guy that will shrink on the big stage. Now, he's a young player. He's not that good yet. So he's missing shots. I get it. But Madison Square Garden, first time there, he was great. First time against one of his heroes, LeBron James, he was great. I think his dad making these proclamations about him his entire life has made him have to live up to some big stuff. So I think he'll be fine once he just becomes a better player, more mature.
Or we lower expectations.
Well, yeah, anybody that thought, did you think he was Magic? You
nope,
still think
I didn't, because you don't have the charisma or the personality, because nobody has ever had that kind of charisma and personality that Magic Johnson had. And I covered Jason Kidd his first year in Dallas with the 3 J's. And by the way, speaking of J, I was the one who coined the phrase, he's acing Kidd because he has no J, because he had none. Trust me, he couldn't shoot a lick. He couldn't shoot even what Lonzo can shoot. And I'm going to remind everybody, Lonzo had a reputation coming up through the AAU ranks of being a knockdown shooter. By the way, here's a quick quote from Luke Walton, also in this long interview he did last night after the game. We're very confident as Lonzo grows and matures in this league, we expect him to be a consistent knockdown shooter. I believe he's not just saying that. I think they look at his track record. AAU, he was considered a clutch three-point shooter. Ask anybody who watched him. Ask Eddie House.
Well, he might. Go ahead, Skip. Okay. Not to cut you off, Skip. He might be a knockdown shooter, but you're not getting that shot off if somebody's guarding you.
Okay.
You're not bringing that ball from here if somebody's up into you.
Although I've seen stats, and I don't have it in front of me, but those second-level stats this year, when he's being contested, he's a better three-point shooter with a hand in his face. Sometimes it's hard when you're slumping like he is right now, and they just dare you, and they just say, shoot a free throw, basically, out there. It's hard to make those shots. So what just happened? What do we just see? The roller coaster. For 16 games, he was the best three-point shooter in the whole league for those 16 games. And all of a sudden, he hit bottom again. And for the last 7 games, he has been the dead last worst three-point shooter in the whole league. That's pretty hard to reconcile, those two, because you saw him and then you didn't see him. And at UCLA, he made 41% from 3. And as he keeps saying, I've been making those shots my whole life. Well, he has.
Yeah, but not the NBA.
College 3 is different, though.
It is. It is. No, I got it.
But we've seen a lot of guys be great at AAU at something, or be great in college. Skip, we got to stop thinking that all automatically transfers to the NBA. And you keep talking about that 16-game stretch. I saw a 30-game stretch when he was like,
Do you remember we had Earl Watson on, the Phoenix coach, who watched him a lot in AAU?
Yeah.
He's in awe of Lonzo as a shooter, a scorer, and a passer. He just says you haven't seen anything yet.
Earl's biased.
He's a UCLA guy.
Earl is biased.
Okay?
He is
But
biased.
I brought this up earlier to Shannon. Do you remember how Kobe's rookie year ended in the playoffs against Utah? He played 9 playoff games, but he shot, 6 of 23, and then at the end of the
He
game,
airballed a bunch of
game,
them.
he shot 4 straight air balls at the end of a winnable game, and he had to go through a whole offseason of people saying about Kobe what you're now saying about Lonzo.
No, Kobe said, bump these 3 points.
Okay.
I'm going to the rack.
All right, well, that's...
And started dunking on folks
I am with
in
you.
that mid-range
And
game.
by the way, speaking of Phoenix, because Earl was still the coach in game number 2 this year on a Friday night, I watched every dribble of this game. Lonzo was spectacular, scoring 29, what was it?
29, like
15,
13 and like 9. Yes.
And yet, what was he doing the whole night? He was attacking the rim. And in the fourth quarter, he took the game over, attacking Tyson Chandler in the lane because he wasn't afraid yet to shoot free throws. The real demons are the free throw demons. He doesn't trust himself at all. So to your point, he'll keep shooting threes because he knows he had a hot streak shooting threes, but he does not want to say, I give up on the 3, I'm just going to attack and get in the lane because he's afraid he's going to get fouled and have to go shoot those free throws.
And also the 3 is such a big part of the game. Like, I don't even know how concerned people are about his lack of a mid-range game. Because so many philosophies in the league now are drive or 3.
Okay.
Look, I think he could become like a 16-point scorer in the league.
Yeah.
And as long as he's got big scorers with him, then he'll be fine.
Okay, so what I love the most is Luke's first point. He wants a point guard with the courage to keep shooting it even when you're missing. And what I told him earlier in the show, at the end, he gives the ball up to Brook, and immediately, because Anthony Davis switches out on him, he clapped for the ball back. This is when he's missed, what was he up to then? 10 in a row?
10 in a row, last
10 in a row. And he clapped for the ball back because he's saying, I'm going to shoot another one. And this is the game make or break. This is the game winner. He gave a clap. Give me the ball back because he's not afraid to shoot it. Does he have issues? Yeah. And he's got to fix these issues. And trust me, Magic Johnson is somewhere right now saying, I don't know. Because what did Magic tell us before the year started? I'm going to give him a year, and if I see it's not working, we are going to fix that shot.
The shot is less to me about the mechanic of how he shoots it with his hands. It's about his landing. When you look and see how he's landing, he's looking like he's shooting on on an outdoor court, landing on one leg, landing hard. Your shot is your full body, not just your shooting mechanic.
Yeah, he was clapping. Like, go on and shoot it, Brooke. That's what he's clapping for. I'm glad you got this ball out of my hand. Shoot it, Brooke. Come on,
I'm sure Brooke had the stats in front of him to know that he shouldn't pass in that ball. Chris, thanks for joining us. Did Michael Bennett throw Russell Wilson under the bus? We'll discuss that next.